Part of being an intentional teacher is making purposeful decisions for your students and your classroom. We can take these decisions and divide them into two categories: mediated decisions and immediate decisions. Mediated decisions are the decisions that you plan, both short-term and long-term. The things that you analyze and think about and get ready to make sure that it's there in place when your children come to school that day. Some mediated decisions that we are making as teachers are the physical environment or design of the classroom, also how we want to display the materials or the activities. So all of that organization is important. Also the daily schedule. When are they most focused? What do we do during that time of day? When are they most tired? What do we do during that part of the day? How do we organize the schedule for bathroom breaks? Or how do we balance active play, quiet activities, whole group, small group? All those things are purposely designed. The same as the groupings of the children. When is a whole group time? When is a small group time? When is individual time? When is when is a time for choice of grouping, and when is a time for the teacher to decide the groupings? Of course, as teachers, we are going to make meaningful, purposeful decisions about the strategies we use to teach instruction and also the activities and themes. Those activities and themes you'll probably base off the kind of learners you have in your classroom, their needs and their interests. That also your learners continually will be assessing the pace of the curriculum. Is it too fast? Is it too slow? When should I teach this? When do I need to spend more time on something? You are constantly assessing that and adjusting it. Assessment, again, ties into pace because you're continually assessing your learners, and you have to decide what kinds of assessments will best give you accurate, valid results of what they know and what they need to practice. And also another mediated decision is your organization of your assessment data. How will you keep record of each child's learning? Of course, we are going to make decisions on individual needs of children. When we think about each child, we have to think about their needs when we plan all of these other components. And the last one that's mediated is really your classroom management system. How are you going to reward? How are you going to discipline? How are you going to transition? A lot of those are systematically thought through long-term and short-term. Long-term would be overall, what do we do in our classroom for management? But short-term would be if you have a child that isn't behaving in your classroom or is sad or is not working their hardest or not cleaning up, you may take time to plan out an individual kind of management system just for them where they're receiving more positive reinforcement. And again, you're making these decisions not on the fly. These are the decisions you are thinking about when you're driving your car, when you're taking your shower, when you're planning your lessons. You're very conscious in the decision making to plan around all of these kind of components. Now, on the flip side are immediate decisions, and these are the things that are almost reactions. They happen on the fly, they're flexible, and you don't know they're going to happen. So one of those is called a teachable moment. And a teachable moment is when something happens that you just go with because they're interested or engaged. An example would be if a child one morning brings something in they want to share from home and everyone's really interested in it. If you can make something out of that, you do it. Or if I'm struggling here. Let's just say you look out the window and it's snowing. This is one of my favorites. With young children, they're going to say, "Oh my goodness, it's snowing," and they're going to all run to the window. Your older kids might too. But this snow is going to be a big distraction. So do you tell them, oh, don't look out the window, don't pay attention to the snow? Or do you make the most of that and say, well, what is snow? Let's grab a book on snow. Let's read about it. Maybe we can make some snowflakes in the Art Center today. And so you really throw out what's planned and you change courses. Teachable moments happen all the time. Someone asks a question that leads to something else, or something happens, and it becomes a moment that is more powerful than what you were initially going to instruct that for that moment. And they're engaged in it, and you just make the most of it, you go with it. And that's why teaching is flexible. So that's definitely an immediate decision. How do you make the most of that teachable moment? The other one is the engagement of students within an activity. I know this happens to every single teacher out there, but you plan systematically this wonderful lesson. You're in love with it. You have made all the materials, and you're looking out over your little learners' faces, and you see that blank stare, or you see that they're not interested, or you see that they're not understanding. Do you keep going with this wonderful lesson? Of course not. You say, this isn't working. Let's try something else. And on the fly, you find something that works to teach it a different way. I know I've been halfway into lessons and just gotten that look that says, stop now and don't waste any more time, because you're going to have to do it again anyway. So teachers have to change course within activities. Even the ones that are the best planned on paper sometimes don't work with your learners. So that's definitely another immediate decision you make. Anything disrupting or unplanned, fire drills, they always disrupt you. Unplanned moments, a kid throws up in your classroom. All of a sudden, you don't feel well. Whatever it is, this is life. We're working with real people, not robots. And so you're going to have disruptions. You're going to have unplanned moments, and you just have to figure out how to best deal with them. Success of a lesson, and this goes back to engagement. They're related. Engagement would be they're not interested. Success is you see that they're not getting it. This happens a lot with math, but it could happen with anything. You just see that blank stare. I don't understand how you're teaching me this information. Let's do it a different way. And of course, there are times when discipline, even if you have this wonderful classroom management system, you will have to deal with some sort of discipline and make an immediate decision for safety or just for behavior because they are disrupting other learners. So teachers are keeping in mind all the knowledge they have about developmentally appropriate practices in their mediated and their immediate decisions each day.